Dear Venerables, Dhamma friends, now this is the time for the day for the Dhamma talk. So may you all settle down comfortably and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Seyyatapi bhikkhave yavakalapi chatumahapate nikkita assa atta purisa agaccheyum Vyahangi hattati. Dear Venerables, Dhamma friends, usually in a residential retreat like that, we daily allocate a fairly good time, that means about 1 hour, to get some theoretical knowledge, the book knowledge, and listening, gaining by listening. So therefore, we usually select one of the discourses delivered by the Buddha, and luckily they are descending down up to us so far, and now they are well structured. We call Tipitaka, or 3 baskets, and out of these 3 baskets, most juicy part, most sappy part, most tasty part, because Sutta Pitaka, that means discourses. In addition to that, we have Vinaya Pitaka, that means the monastic code for the recluses. And in addition to that, there are something known as Abhidhamma, that is secondary data analysis or philosophical part. So today we selected one particular discourse from the Sutta Pitaka. The Sutta Pitaka itself, we have 5 books. The first one is called Digha Nikaya. They are long discourses. So if anyone wish to get an acquaintance, that is being recommended because they are long stories. And basically, specifically the early part of this book, talking about the morality or ethical values and social responsibilities and transgressional mistakes often happen in our day-to-day life, knowingly or unknowingly, going to give very grave punishments. So the Buddha is analyzing them. The small one, medium one, grave mistakes, and without knowing you do it. But no harm, knowingly or unknowingly, if you are committed, you will get punishments. So those who get that kind of a feeling, they wish to know from a wise man, from a true person, how can we select such mistakes which is violating the society, transgressing the social norms, and without or with knowledge, if we are violating, I have to suffer. Can you please advise me? What are those transgressional mistakes, and how much I can cope up with them, so that, let alone what happened and what is happening, I can organize my life in time to come. These are very rare thinking, because we are so engrossed, we are so obsessed with so much of problem, we have no chance to think about the prevention of future at least, and we are highly worried about the curative and therapeutic things. Today's society is full of therapeutic and curative parts. Even the mindfulness as such in the West used as a therapeutic and curative. That's why they are using the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, mindfulness-based psychiatric analysis. That is, the society so much of with the burden. It's of course happening in the personal basis, your psychiatry, psychosis, and all the kind of thing. And ultimately it has come up to the level, it is almost more than 25%, 30%, in developed countries more than 40%. Pathological. So therefore, when I was in the university, we had no any psychiatric consultants. Recently, there was an invitation for me to, when I go to Peradeniya, I was in Peradeniya University. Please, Bante, give us a interview, the meeting, because 8 children committed suicide, 4 from the engineering faculty. So when we were there were some cases in the first 2 weeks where we call ragging, and some can't bear it up. Either they commit suicide or escape the university. But this is not. Earlier also I thought that it is during the ragging season. No. Some of them are final students. Some of them are girls. Some are not Buddhist. And when they analyze it, even the small thing they can't cope up with, they commit. Let alone the other things they are disturbing others. So I propose them. I can't tackle it is 13,000 or so number of children, number of students, undergraduates. So therefore, where can we start? Can we start with the staff? Then taking a whole staff for 1 hour, impossible. And there was a representative of the psychiatrist from the medical faculty. She told, Bante, we have 40 psychiatric advisors, counselors, 10 faculties. Each faculty, they have 4 counselors. So I thought that when we were there, we have never heard about. If you go to schools, 15 schools, they have 1 psychiatrist. Big schools, there is a psychiatric room. And they are inviting them. So we were in Gippsland University, Gippsland. Yeah, there are some societies and very smiling girls' faces there, indicating if you have this kind of thing, please call me. I am always free. I am waiting. I am being paid from the university. So if you have, don't brood upon them. Come. So they are using mindfulness as the main tool, because it is no pharmaceutical intervention, no side effects, no after effects. So I was studying, I was observing for the last 40 years, and I found mindfulness went to the West, and they are using it is for the MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction program. So there is a professor here, Professor Padmasiri De Silva. He's in the Monash, he was a fellow in the Monash University. He's residing here. I asked for this retreat, he did not appear. Then I told Professor, you know the Peradeniya University, you are in the art faculty, I am in the agriculture faculty. The people are now talking about mindfulness and basically on the therapy, basically on the curative. Can you think about one day the whole world will develop, West and the East, that we can think about the preventative? In Sinhala we call vedakamata vadiye hedakama hondai. Prevention is better than cure. Then he told, I am a amateur person, I am a newcomer, but I highly benefited from mindfulness. So if you wish, I can connect you to the American professors and the people in the front line, and to give this idea. Then I have no hope, because they will never listen to me. Luckily, you are listening to me, isn't it? I'm so proud. And hardly any people, any person, individually or as a group, think about, now we are in trouble. Definitely it is because of our culture, our upbringing, and our sometimes the Buddhist idea of karmic forces or genetical configuration. Therefore, some directed dispositions and underlying tendencies. So we feel like we sometimes committing and ultimately become addicted. And when it comes to a certain level, you will grab hold, put into jail, answer the confronted in the court, found guilty. So it's too much, too late. So some people, by looking at this cancer presently developed in the world, they think, can I prevent it? The prevention method is sila. That's called moral discipline, moral responsibilities, or ethical responsibilities. So if you, I don't know how much of you have went to Sri Lanka and learn about the society, 3 generations back, they are very rich in moral and ethical values. They were not aware even that. And the second generation, the first generation, and our children and their own children, it's a erosion. Ethical values and the moral values. The one American person looked into that. He wrote a book. Luckily or unluckily, that book is in the Gippsland University Library. For the last 2 sessions, library was closed. I had no chance to go there. If you happen to look, it's a very thick book, you may not read it. The Hidden Curriculum and Moral Education. Present-day curriculum is killing our senses. We are developing only the sensuous pleasure and at the cost of moral values and the ethical values. So, how do you call that? Social scientists, they are concerned, they know. But no one so far selected mindfulness as the lasting therapy. Of course, they have selected mindfulness as the therapeutic and preventative, therapeutic and healing. But for the prevention-wise, because this is a scientific education, never talk about moral responsibilities. They are confined to a lab. They are confined to their hypothesis. They are proving or disproving hypothesis. They get PhD, they get MPhil, they get MSc, they get diploma, they get this thing. And that's the only thing UN is concerned, WHO is concerned, IMF is concerned, government is concerned, qualification. They never look into the moral values. So therefore, education system is utterly corrupted. And they are seriously think about reform. I am heavily engaged in Sri Lankan education department and the moral, reform. So I mean, I am also learning. I told it's the only way, one and the only way, mindfulness. That the Buddha has prescribed much, much earlier, but we are not exposed to the deep learning of Buddhism. Instead, we stop learning Buddhism in the Sri Lankan curriculum at the grade 8. Then onward, they are selecting commerce, art, and science. I selected to the science. We stop Sinhalese as a language and the Buddhism. And we are considered the top in the school because we are learning science. And when you go to the university also, no morality. So the Buddha says, imagine the one person bring a bundle of barley, or we can say bundle of rice, and put into the crossroad, and 6 people coming with the big bar, or it's a rod, heavy one, and beating it. I mean, that is the way we are threshing barley. We are threshing paddy. Sometimes we are using buffaloes or you put into a harvester. In Sri Lanka now we have what you call tsunami. It's a huge machine, like a combine harvester, or sometimes called bhutia. That is what it's Indian Indian gadget, and we can hear, because there are very little people to harvest, because it is a very difficult thing. You have to get down into the muddy area and cut with the sickle and get handfuls and collect and put onto the threshold ground and whole system. Very, very aesthetic. Overnight, we are in the threshold ground and stories and singing and sharing food and everything. Nothing. Now only booth and the tsunami is coming. And then few hours time, it's been threshed. But the Buddha is reciting the old traditional system. Some person came into and put that the bundle of barley or bundle of rice, according to our Sinhalese way. But this is in India. And then keep on beating. And the seventh person also come and started beating, and beaten thing is heavily beaten. That is how the harvesting happens. And this is a very classic, very positive example. But now the Buddha is relating it to one individual. We have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, the mind. Whenever something come and a visual object impinge on your eye consciousness or eye sensitivity, then you become a seer. And at that time, hearing is not happening, smelling, tasting, touching, nothing. Because you are fully engaged in seeing. Sometimes we are beaten with sound waves, come and beat upon your eardrum, and then you become a listener. At that time you can't see. Okay, it is not in the sutta. And sometimes you are highly taken up by smells, good or bad. So whenever that become conspicuous, you can't see, you can't hear, you can't taste, you can't feel the body, because you become a person with the smelling. And whenever you are tasting something, very good or very bad, you are so absorbed, you are so bogged down in tasting, you are not a good seer at that time. You are not a listener. You are not a person with the nose. You are highly engaged in tongue. And sometimes you have soft touch, the cushions and the female touch of the male and the male touching females. And at that time, you are irresponsible about the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, but the touch. And when you come to the meditation, luckily you had so far few sessions of sitting and walking, you close your eyes. Then you are not, virtually you are not a seer. Yeah, voluntarily you close your eyes. The visual objects, basically the shape and the color, cannot come and impinge upon your eye consciousness or sensitive to the eye. And you go to a silent place. That's why we are coming to the forest and making these all buildings and kind of thing, because we can't close our ears. There's not a single animal on the earth then close the ears. So therefore, only thing is, you have to go to a place, least amount of sounds. Even the humming bee or a fly, how much disturbing you? Today, 1 or 2 reports were there. When the sound happens, no. It is not thundering sound. It is not tsunami. It is not an earthquake. But how much it is irritating. And luckily you have taken a bath, therefore no stingy smells. When people get together, it's a case. If you go and wait in a private bus in Sri Lanka, I used to go to Galaha bus to go to Nilambe, and full of Tamil people coming. And sitting in the town of Kandy, it's full of sunny, and if the bus is not running, there's all the kind of smells. Because they are putting costumes and kind of thing. Maybe otherwise they are very stingy. That's why maybe some, but the costumes, and that is also making headache. And when you are eating, when we are in sitting, we try to do away with that. We keep a distance. Social distance not due to corona, much before we started. In the walking, we don't hit each other. We get space. And the sitting, even in group sitting, we keep space. We don't have the close relationships, and because one of the disadvantages is the smell. And if you have been with monkeys, they have monkey smell. But here in dogs, they don't have smell because you are kissing and bathing and veterinary surgeons are there. But Baluganda is a very famous one. The beach is giving the Baluganda to puppies. And chicken, give the chicken smell to the chicks. They are completely communication with the smell. Animals, main thing is nose, forward. Their body is cross, and the nose is the first. Elephants, but we now develop, we go to the eye, ear, nose, tongue. So order is different. That is what we call evolution. But still, we people are highly attracted with the smells. In tea industry, we have a nettle grub. That means they are very, kind of a worm, and it has a lot of thick hairs, and if you touch it, they're soaring. So that pluckers has to go through the tea bushes, and their whole parts will be swollen. So what they do is they wrap a gunny bag around that, and very difficult to spray something because they are living under the underside of the leaf. What instead they did was, they extracted exudes of the female nettle grubber. And if you keep it there, all the males are coming hundreds, and they collect it and kill them. Smelling. So now it is being developed, not only in agriculture, many cultures. That's the way nose is stirring us and giving stimulations. And the tongue. So we have morning meals, lunch, the dinner, in between, and before the main meal, and after the main meal, so much of things. So we are amused. But when we come here, I heard for this retreat you are being provided with the dinner. But in Sri Lanka, we don't. So therefore, basically, monks are not coming. So they are heavily eating the dinner. They say, what the hell, by eating, who is going to the hell? The Buddha has already mentioned, reduce at least to 3 into 2. Morning time you can take it, not after the noon. Very difficult. Unlucky monks are coming like them. Other day, they say that if there is no dinner, no. A very beautiful thing happened in around Sri Lanka, because we started mindful classes for the Pirivena education. Pirivena means only the monks are learning, and their preconditions are they must have the full meal. Full square meals 3 per day. But the Buddha, some or the other, he asked us by precepts, the 6th, Vikala Bhojana Veramani Hikkapadan Samadhyan. We are not taking meals, specifically the staple foods, From the morning, dawn to the noon, okay, not otherwise. So we are cutting off it and try to understand, try to feel the benefit of it for the health, for the discriminate or the understanding of the poor people, to understand the people, those who are sleeping without food in Africa and in Asia, not that due to the precept, they don't have something to eat. Animals, hardly they have enough meals. So therefore, whenever you have a meal, by entertaining, but when you are in sitting, if you get such a taste in your taste buds or smell, you find it's a distraction for your simple mindfulness. Your simple mindfulness is you are focusing to a distasteful breath. You are focusing distasteful expansion and contraction of the body. The distasteful, the sitting posture. Distasteful, left leg, left leg, right leg. Even if you are mindful while eating, we can see what the voracious feeders are we. Because we don't like to be mindful while eating. Because the entertainment is something, being mindful on the eating is something. The Mahasi Sayadaw used to say, with the elderly people, they come for meditation retreat, specifically on residential retreat. They are, I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing. They are highly restricted and they are self-torturing. They stopped eating. Ultimately, they get fainted, weak. They can't practice meditation. They want to go to the other extreme, not to eat, because while eating, if you are mindful, overeating is hardly happen. So, whenever such a experience or memory come into your mind, your mindfulness will be distorted. And the body. Our attention is, so to say, in sitting. Of course, one person asked today, but I never go in detail. The Buddha says, as far as mindfulness is with your body, you are completely cut off from the sensuous world. Because your mind is within the fathom-long body. Very difficult to keep. But if you practice, sometimes you may see the walking body and sitting body, all the kinds of, but main thing is your body. But I would like to go little bit in detail. Imagine you sit very comfortably. Now you are sitting, you are listening. And when you are sitting, you try your best to keep the mind within this range of within the skin, and very difficult. But there may be some successful and skillful and meritorious people fairly can keep within the body. And then ask them to just be aware of the upper part of the body, because that is the respiratory system. That is the place where expansion and contraction happen. Luckily, if you can reduce the bodily tactile sensations to the upper part of the body, you don't know, but you just forget about the lower part of the body. Because it is passively supporting and keeping the upper part of the body. That's only giving the anchorage. So whenever you are coming to the upper part successfully, you don't know. Not only you have forgotten about the sensuous world, you have forgotten about the lower part of the body also. And once you come up to the upper part of the body, if you are successful, still it says, can you keep only at the tip of the nose or at the top of your lip when the in-breath and out happen? Still you are focusing. Still you are concentrating at one point. And there you can't think about the body. Not on the sensuous world. Your lower part, your upper part, gone. The tactile sensation ultimately from the whole world to the body, and body to the the upper part to the nose, And when that happens, the body is represented by this in-breath and out-breath. So the tactile sensation, we are very lucky because mind is basically or fairly with the in-breath and out-breath and the tip of the nose or up top of the upper lip. That's the most skillful. But imagine when you are in a carnival. Imagine when you are in a supermarket. Imagine when you are in a concert. Where is the mind? Monkey mind is roaming everywhere. And you don't know what is happening in the in-breath and out-breath. So therefore in meditation we try to get the tactile sensation as the anchor. Tactile sensation as the pivotal point. Tactile sensation as the reference point. It's a great discovery of the Buddha. That's the way you can forget about the past and the future, other people and other places. So that the tactile sensation never happens unless otherwise you are in the Buddha era. If you are listening to the Buddha, not a single university, any school, any education system I have seen that they say the focusing this is the here and now, lack of tension and lack of frustration. But the whole world is teaching something, not the tactile sensation, others, sensation of others and or the comfortable furniture and kind of thing. That's what people call luxury. That's what people call earning. That's why people call we can gift someone. But they don't know the highest happiness is under your nose. But it's never been taught. So whenever you try to be with that simple notion of in-breath and out-breath, any sensation coming from the body appear like an irritation, pricky. Two things. One thing is whenever the mindfulness is come to a one single point, all the other places become stimulated. Even the wind. Sometimes you feel like crawling animals. Sometimes you feel like under the nose and around the mouth like a beehive. And you feel tip of the fingers. Some energies are going. And you feel like dripping of the water drops like. All the things are happening. And that become quite a nuisance for the unknown people. Because their aim is the breath under the nose and top of the lip. But instead, our body is full of sensations. My teacher used to say, we are in the bottom of the sea of sensation. A to Z, from morning to evening, all the sensations. So whenever it is coming to the one single pointedness, it becomes a highest efficiency of the meditation. So imagine when you are at home, when you are in any other business, very difficult to bring it up to that. Because all the other stimulations are very open, so our body is reacting like a monkey. Mad monkey. It's called monkey mind. And beyond these 5 physical organs, eye, ear, nose, tongue and the body, there's a one faculty called mind. That's called not the materiality, we call mentality. In the science education is completely cut off. Because the René Descartes giving the basic criterion in Western psychology, he says, ergo cogito sum. I think, therefore I am. Because the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, even if they are not giving any signal, if the mind is thinking, I know I am living. That's the bare minimum, intrinsic, unavoidable, proximate cause to say that particular person is living. And in then the later science told, the 5 organs belong to science, the mind and the thinking belongs to the church. So science must never go to the church. Church must never go to the five organs. So completely deviation happens. But during our era only, the book came, Mind Science. Learning about the mind. And Professor Ganvil Dhanmardana, presently he is in Melbourne, he is the person who wrote the preface. So when I read, I just wanted to meet him and ask, because he was the president of Science Society in Sri Lanka in 70s. And mind science. So now that is being heavily developed, how the mind is working, and one person role, the physics of the mind, soul. And Richard Davidson is writing the soul in your brain. Completely new areas. They are highly parallel with mindfulness. I was crazy. Reading, all that kind of thing. And now they are in a perplexion whether to accept the Buddha or accept Isaac Newton and Einstein. Unlucky or lucky enough, Einstein knows Buddha. People think, no, Einstein is this this regiment, Buddha is on the other. Very recently we had a discussion about the artificial intelligence, AI. And when we are discussing, I told I hate it. I am the person who's using it the heaviest. I am using all the sophisticated equipments in mindful school and mindful this thing, but I told this is a kind of a cancer. The other person coming with me told Bante, now we have app. I can't remember the name. Any document you put, it can give the grammatically corrected and giving. What is that app? Chat GP, yes. I have in my how do you call it, my computer. I never used, but I am very happy. Then she told, other side, Bande, ChatGPT is a kind of a product of artificial intelligence. But that particular person claimed he is a mindful person. So therefore we can't separate it out. That's why he came out with Chat GPS. Earlier they were completely contradictory. So we are in such a era where this communication is now taking place. Everything happens through mindfulness. But if you are not aware of mindfulness, if you are not associating true people, if you are not associating virtuous people, you keep on stimulating the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind is sending kites. And top of that, seventh person, it is not well indicated in this sutta, it is liking and disliking. We are utterly succumb to that. The Buddha says the bundle of reed or barley put in the, we call threshing ground, but the Buddha says put into a crossroad and 6 people come and beating it. That's what it calls threshing. And once beaten, the 7th person also come and beat, and imagine what kind of a torturing is. And that is why, that is how, as an example, the uninstructed commoners, they think seeing TV, far away things you can see. When we were young, we had before 1977, there were no 3 TVs in Sri Lanka. When the first time non-aligned conference happened, 3 TVs came, one thing to the BMIC, the other one for the other scientists, I can't remember. The first time introduced. There were no TVs at that. Later, black and white went into colors. And then we went into 3D and the flat screen. Now it is a very common thing. Oring, we call Rupa Vahini in Sinhala. Any house, their richness is selected by the family screen size. Is the big screen? Very good, very luxurious, very rich people. And people in this time just looking at it, because there is no other way parents can take care about the children. They are looking at it, or they are looking at the small screen, cell phone, and completely attracted. Their hands are not working, legs are not working, but pressing buttons. They know Mickey Mouse and everything on the Disneyland. But the cockroach happened in the house. What is this? We don't know. If we see a real mouse or a rat, don't know. They can give the pedigree of Mickey Mouse. They know clouds. Not in the sky, but in the computer. So imagine this kind of a thing happen, how much the Disneyland people can control our children. You buggers are all succumb to that situation. I am also. Otherwise, I don't have first-hand experience. So you are believing something illusion. So therefore, television is called tube of illusion. And sounds. If you follow the most popular singers in America, halftime Super Bowl, how much politics? How much you are twisting your mind? We worry telling that we don't have such a national singer, we don't have that caliber, and therefore we are very happy. But the Buddha says it is like a beating on that, the bundle of barley. It's a completely conspiracy. The musical system. I'm not going to tell the names because otherwise they will kill me. And the nose. How much they have refined the chemicals to attract and distract, and they become a warfare now. Gas chambers, methyl bromide killing, and attractive between the males and females, they are not very successful comparing the eye and the sound, the ear. This is also happening, and the tastes. McDonald's, Subway. So when I come here to Australia, or mainly I come for McDonald's. People are bringing Polo Sambul and Vattaka and Karavila. I just throw away. We have enough there. This is, we have plucked this Wambatu from the Wang Ating. So please, Bante, have little. This is plucked by Dakunu Ating. So please, Bante, please, little. Who the hell going to eat? Go to McDonald's, Subway, Hungry Jacks. Then we have in Sri Lanka now. How much they are selecting the government leaders? How much they are selecting the encroaching poor countries like a cancer? So if you do not know that, of course, I am not telling they have no taste, they have no color, they are raw. But who is controlling? So we are giving tastes and the luxuries. You can imagine the new brands of cars, how much they have thought about us. They are thinking about the seat and the BMW, I think Benz company. It's advertising not necessary to divorce you. You can have 2 air conditioners, left side and the right side. Otherwise, husband and wife is fighting with the temperature 23 or 26. Now this is known, they are separated. Back seat also cancel it, so there's nothing to worry about the divorce. Do you think it is for our well-being? They are thinking in terms of our well-being? Never. Never. And the mind? We send kites. Is it for our well-being? Can that such a crazy mind understand the mind mechanism? How does it work? Never. So this is what the Buddha says, just like the heap of reed or paddy, beaten. On top of that, the 7% also come and beat. So therefore, unexposed and, simply put, I would say unmindful people. They think this beating is this happiness. That is the standard of life. That depends on the gross national production or individual income. If it is not so, you consider as poor and you consider the third world country. But those who are entertaining, those who are indulging them, you see how short the life is. Very obvious. Very recently one person put an idea, I don't know whether it's proved or not, but there were some films also. If an educated person, male, married to education daughter, education girl, children will be with autistic. At the 55, you get dementia. You get Alzheimer. So American, one of the senator is questioning that person who is controlling the drugs. Have you found any relationship with the dementia and this thing with this kind of relation? No, there is no relationship. No. Have you ever designed a research to prove this relationship? No. That is none of our business. Because everything is funded by big pharma, pharmaceutical industry. So it is happening like at a free this thing, but during our age, that now it is toppling. Mindfulness is coming somewhat, and we are being somewhat exposed, and we are of course carried away, taken for a ride from the visual object, sounds, the nose, the smells and the taste and the luxuries and crazy thinking we call free thinking. But we are given very small secret, 2,600 years old, never forced. But you just put little time and see, very obvious, under your very nose. The best scientist that I love in America, he's writing a lot of articles and he's very in the front line. He says, being the mindfulness is so cheap. Being it is given completely free of charges. No pharmaceutical intervention. No side effects. No after effects. See how much of a proportion, percentage of human beings are selecting it. No, we lucky or unlucky people select it and try to be mindful, and you see how difficult it is. At the beginning, it's so difficult. Because immediate results are not there. So when you keep on practicing only, you can understand while you are sitting, seeing is a trouble. Hearing is a trouble. The smell comes, it's a trouble. Taste happen to your body, tongue is a trouble. And the body's tactile sensation is a trouble. Thinking is the main cause. That is because you try to be here and now. And to come up to that theoretical understand, leave aside the deductive knowledge, leave aside the direct experience of meditation, come up to that point, what a coincidence that we participate in a retreat like this. What a coincidence to learn mindfulness is the only rescue, only the way out. We are so lucky that we don't appreciate it. World never appreciate. Buddhists never appreciate it. So that is why this odd example Buddha is presenting. Imagine a bundle of bundle of barley or bundle of rice put into a ground and person beating, and on top of that 7 person also beating. So what a kind of torturing. See, the Buddha says exactly the monks, when visual object impinging your eye, it's torturing. When the sound wave come and beating on your eardrum, it's a torturing. Smell happen when you are in a calm and sitting meditation, it's torturing, it's a distraction. Taken you for a ride. And when the taste happens, accidentally, definitely a distraction. And bodily pain and shaking of the bodily posture, because not due to nothing. There are some sensations, each and everything appear like a distortion. My first retreat, I did it in Fatima Retreat Center. It's a Catholic church. And the teacher was Monindraji, just like a Goenkaji. And he came, and I am the only young man was sitting. All the other was foreigners, even if it is Sri Lanka. My English also not so good to take everything. He used to say, whatever the cushion you are taking, even if you are sitting on air, body is torturing. We are moving, but soon after the moving, again the torturing happens. We don't know that when you are looking at a beautiful film or a teledrama, we are moving, we don't know. We are engaging in a classic music and orchestra, we are moving, we don't know. But when you become mindfulness away from the orchestra, you see it's a kind of a torturing. So whenever it happens, the dirty trick of the Mara is you hate them. When the visual object happens, you complain. When a sound comes and distract, you complain. Smell, taste, touch or thought happen, you complain. That means you hate it. Because you have a pet, you have a primary object, you have a neutral, repetitive object like breath. So when you are going to focus it, anything colorful, anything dramatic, anything eventful, you feel like a distraction. But when you are at household life, when you are in a carnival, when you are in a supermarket, no. Because you are not noticing it. So therefore, there should have a true person. There should have a good friend to tell you, okay, you don't change your lifestyle. Never mind. No. You be there. Don't even administer precepts. Take few minutes and try to close your eyes and try to keep the attention with the neutral, repetitive object. Then you can see what a kind of a challenge is it. In that sense, even the youngest child in the family or middle age or elderly people have the equal challenges, equal friction, equal aberration. Or is a Buddhist priest, or is a person in the prison inmate, or is a cancer patient. So drug addicted person, exactly the same torturing. Exactly the same aberration. We think that the doctor is in happiness and the patient is in disease or we call disease. Both are in the same torturing. There may be some doctors, there may be some people training to be doctors. No excuse. Whether you are the king of the country or a subject in the country, both are in the same level. Whether you are a teacher or a student, exactly the same. We are not happy to accept it. We think by becoming a doctor, becoming a teacher, becoming the king, these things will be alleviated by good seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. But since we little people try to cut off from everything and try to keep the mind with the neutral object and a repetitive object, then we can understand what the kind of torturing, what the kind of aberration, what the kind of prick is happening. So therefore, we are opening completely new brain circuit that is called neurobics. This area never works in our brain. We are using only 2% or 3% of our brain. Specifically, subject matter specialists are the most mad people. They know they are only their subject. Rest, completely cut off. Psychiatrist knows only psychiatric problems. ENT surgeons knows these only. Heart surgeon knows that. They are not exposed. Their wives, they know they are idiots. They are idiots. They have no common sense. Even when the wife happens, you put the probe and see whether the ear is working properly. Wife needs something else. Mad, mad, mad world. Not that it is indicating doctors cannot be mindful, ENT surgeons can't be mindful, they can be. There are some. I have contacts with them. Earlier they were not mindful, now they are mindful. They think by getting such a high caliber or MD, nothing changed. But they are not telling. They hard earn the post. But when you come to the mindful ground, they are confessing. One doctor is having 3 children, all became doctors. Then only you are bloody mad. Why you are sending the same line? No, Bhante, don't blame me like that. That is their desire, that is their skill. So they are going alone this way. But you know how difficult your life is. What to do, Bhante? That they select. So when such a situation happens, unless otherwise we know the datum line of your life, you are thinking about ups and downs, you are only planning ups. There's nothing on the earth, whenever you're in the up, next thing is down. When you are in the down, next thing is up. They are natural phenomena. But our culture, our upbringing, our education says, no, this is the brighter side. Forget about the dark side. Try to chase, that is called the pleasure principle. Sigmund Freud came out with this idea. Whole animal, not only humans, chasing behind the pleasure. No one found it. Because at the death, they are not happy. No one. So the person who has written the physics of your soul, he says, life is a long formula. We are working it out day by day in, day out. But at the deathbed, it's multiplied by 0. Everything nonsense it becomes. So who the hell, while living in the prime time of your life, the adolescents and the young adults, to give little idea, give little, chance to bring the mind to the norm, bring the mind to the datum line, and bring the mind to the normal day-to-day unsatisfactoriness. Buddha is suggesting. Not a single founder of other religion, they promise you the heaven. everlasting hell, the everlasting heaven. The Buddha says, no, that is not predestined. You have a will, bring it back to the datum line, but it is never happened by accident. You have to associate true people and wise people, but they true people and wise people are not missionary. All the other people are missionary. They have their mission, they have their agenda. But you have to go in search. And then occasionally you may hear, sometimes within your life you can deduce it. You can, inferential knowledge, you can verify it. Then only then you feel like put into practice. People, those who have know that theoretical knowledge, people, those who do not have that kind of a deductive knowledge or inferential knowledge, they will practice, but it becomes utter superficial. So therefore, in a retreat, we give this kind of a knowledge, because you all are knowledgeable people. And see, the step we have taken is enormously beneficial. But our knowledge and inferential knowledge is not appreciating it enough. That's everyone's early part of your meditation. So when you keep on practicing, when you come up to the level where to understand your investment, it's be very advanced age, but irreversible progress happening. That's why we are talking with the meditated people, associating the meditated people, true people, to get their experience. Lucky we have 2,600 years of history. I hope everyone is Buddhist. If it is not so, they may have different calculation. So therefore, with that kind of a faith, with that kind of energy, with that kind of mindfulness, if you are practicing, you are not learning for a PhD. No. You are understanding who am I. And that is also never happen without the proper guidelines. That is why in a meditation retreats, we give 1 hour to give little bit of knowledge of the Buddha in terms of book knowledge, in terms of theoretical knowledge, in terms of listening. So take them when you are practicing, go to the rock bottom of your experience, be with that flat experience of in-breath and out-breath long time. Be with that flat experience of in-breath, the left leg and right leg. Boredom can happen. The monotony can happen. It's a very good clear sign if you are go prepared with. So with that remark, I would like to sum up the day's talk. Thank you very much for listening.